Welcome to the Statline Podcast. I'm Safal.
And I'm Atlas, and we are back.
Man, we're back. Third of the NFL season underway. How's it going, Atlas? How's football season treating you?
It's going good. You know, as an Eagles fans, you got your ups and downs with that. Also being from North Carolina, it's nice to see the Panthers on the rise.
Woo!
Finally at 500 again. It feels like
dude.
Feels like it's been since like 2018 or something since that's happened. Maybe I'm tripping.
I mean, it happened in 2021 when Sam Darnold started the year 3-0. I don't know if you remember that. It was the year when Cam Newton came in. The last time we were 500 was when Cam Newton ran into the end zone in Arizona and said, "I'm back." That was the last time the Panthers have been this good, and I can't believe they're this good again. Like, I cannot believe that. We might have a franchise quarterback in Bryce Young. We'll talk about that later. What have been your surprises of the season so far?
Well, I mean, as you know, like first episode, I was talking about the Falcons being a sleeper team and being able to beat the Bills. I think shows that they are a sleeper team. But then I look back to a couple of weeks prior when they got 30-0 by the Carolina Panthers. Like,
yes,
I don't know what to expect. I don't think the young guys are fully ready. I mean, obviously, Bijan's like the best back in football right now, like unquestionably, and you got Michael Penix. He doesn't thrill me quite yet. Like, I would love for him to be an NFL elite quarterback, but he's got all the tools, but he just hasn't put it fully together. But also, I think that's somewhat of the game plan. But that's neither here nor there. That's been one of my surprises, just seeing how they've been able to bounce back from losing 30-0 and end up beating like one of the top two teams in the NFL, like at the time of them beating them.
If you kind of discount their 30-0 loss against Carolina, they've had a solid start to their season, man. They lost a very close game to Tampa Bay to begin the year, and then they beat Minnesota on Sunday Night Football on the road. Then, obviously, the meltdown against Carolina, and then they've two solid wins since then. They beat the Commanders at home, then they beat a strong Buffalo team. I know we can get to Buffalo in a bit and discuss their fall off, but Buffalo is still one of the contenders in this league. And the scoreboard might say 24-14, maybe a little closer, but this was 21-7 going into halftime. And if Drake London doesn't go out right before halftime, it's 28-7. The Falcons were having their way against Buffalo, and my goodness, that defense has come alive this year.
Dude, the Falcons' defense is so good that their defensive coordinator's son texted Shedeur Sanders, and then we forgot about that with how good he's done so far. It's insane. Like, that should be still a national headline, but we don't think about it. We don't think about that with the Falcons. But if they're winless, that would be the only thing we would hear.
Oh, for sure. If the Falcons were winless, or if the Falcons defense sucked, the only thing on Falcons Twitter and NFL Twitter would be, oh yeah, I mean, of course, this is what you would expect from a defensive coordinator who like let his son message Shedeur Sanders that he's getting drafted by the Saints, by the divisional rivals.
Yeah, that was one of the moments.
That was some troll shit.
That was insane.
That was insane. That a NFL level defensive coordinator just. I mean, I get it. That's his son. Like, you know, he probably trusted his son, but crazy work.
Yeah, I mean, it's
crazy,
not like
diabolical.
He didn't necessarily give him the information. He just left it there where he could see it. That's the problem. But the son should have known better.
Oh, for sure. If I was Jeff Ulbrich, oh my God, my son would be getting an ass whooping that day.
He would be getting that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson BTA.
The BTA for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, that was crazy. But yeah, no, that was my surprise so far this season. I think the Falcons are, still going to be in playoff contention, but NFC South looking pretty good right now. At least three of those teams. The Saints, you guys got to get rid of Kamara. Like, don't let him just stay there the rest of his career and rot.
Talking about the Saints, I know we didn't plan to talk about the Saints, but we can quickly touch on this. Is Spencer Rattler had quietly a great game this past weekend, and I know New Orleans fans are against Rattler, but I feel like maybe Spencer Rattler is buying himself a year or two in New Orleans. I think at the end of this year, if Rattler continues to play the way he's been playing so far, I think New Orleans has to look in the mirror and say, hey, do we have our guy already? Should we be building around Rattler rather than looking for another quarterback again and being a part of the QB carousel? What do you think?
Spencer Rattler, like going into this year, most NFL fans, like I don't know what Saints fans are feeling, but we're expecting at least that Tyler Shuck would get his chance sometime in the season, maybe even get the starting job because they were competing all offseason for that starting job. But to your point, Spencer Rattler, he played a really good game last week, and really this whole season he's limited his turnovers, thrown the deep ball well, actually got Olave involved. And their team, on paper, they're garbage. They're complete garbage. But on the field, they can keep games relatively close for the most part. And so, that's all a credit to Kellen Moore and Spencer Rattler. And I think, as you said, like he definitely bought himself the full season, but maybe even, next year and the year after, like who's to say that Tyler Shuck is their franchise quarterback going forward? But I think at some point they'll want at least him to get some game rep action to see who's going to be the guy.
Yeah, but I mean the thing is with Rattler, Rattler has all the talent in the world. If we remember Spencer Rattler back in his college days, before Caleb Williams took over in Oklahoma against Texas, back in like 2019, I think. Spencer Rattler was supposed to be him. I mean, I remember like teams would be on Rattler watch, tank for Rattler. That was a real thing at one point in the National Football League in college football. That's how much people used to rave about Spencer Rattler until Caleb Williams came in and took his job. Maybe he's revived his career in New Orleans. I don't know. Let's see. But my surprise this year is the AFC East, and especially the New England Patriots. The turnaround they've had in 1 year because of my guy, UNC legend Drake May, has been nothing short of beautiful, man. Nothing short of beautiful. What Mike Vrabel's done in New England, like just turning the culture around, what Drake May has done to turn that offense around, integrating Stephon Diggs as the primary receiver, even though Diggs is on the older end, kind of utilizing Diggs' experience to make him the primary target rather than Diggs' skill set. The Patriots are putting on a show to the NFL on how to rebuild a team and how to turn a team's culture around.
Dude, honestly, like I'm so happy for the Patriots, especially Pop Douglas and Kayshon Boutte, because they were there with the Patriots when they were garbage, even before Gerard Mayo, and then now they got Mike
Bill
Vrabel.
Belichick years, I don't even want to talk about that guy.
I couldn't integrate Bill Belichick and Patriots because he's got that rule you can't talk about the Patriots for the UNC facilities. But anyways, yeah, I think Diggs really helps out their receiving core, just having like a veteran guy knows how to catch big moments and be there for his quarterback, kind of scramble around, get to an open space if he needs to, and then that's only helped Douglas and Boutte and Hunter Henry, the rest of the offense out, and it's a very good offense. Like, got to give my props to their play calling, and they're really putting some points on the board, as you know, with the Panthers game.
Dude, I mean, okay, I will say this. The Steelers they've lost against the Steelers, which are a good team, and the Raiders, a bad team. Both of those losses were pretty close, right? Geno Smith threw like 370 yards in that Week 1 game, and that Week 3 game against Pittsburgh. New England was in it all game long, but their running backs had 5 fumbles. Ramondre fumbled the ball twice that game, I think. Antonio Gibson fumbled the ball once. I think a receiver fumbled the ball again. That was just a turnover fest. If they had one less turnover, they probably beat Pittsburgh that game. So the Patriots they've been a surprise, man. But let's talk about the fall off of some teams. Like, I mean, I don't want to say Buffalo's fallen off. They're still 4-2. They still look good in the AFC. But these last 2 weeks, man, I don't know. Just something does not feel right with Buffalo. What do you think? Against New England on Sunday Night Football a couple weeks ago, and then this past week on Monday Night Football in Atlanta, Bijan going off, Josh Allen struggling against that Atlanta defense. What do you make of the Bills' situation right now?
Honestly, I can never see the Bills being like a 14-15 win team in the next few years, just because like Josh Allen's always going to have a few of those games where he's just like not excelling to the point where he's like superstar status in that game. Like, he'll be okay, serviceable quarterback, but not who everybody knows Josh Allen as. And I think that we saw that in the Atlanta game most recently. But the Buffalo Bills, I'm not really worried about them. I think we're in week 6, we're about to be week 7, and yeah, we already overreacted about the Chiefs, and I think a lot of people are overreacting about the Eagles, even though they have even worse concerns in some ways than both of those other teams that I just mentioned. But overall, I'm not worried about the Bills. Josh Allen is Josh Allen. You got talented receivers, James Cook out there, and then the defense has been okay. Like, I'm not going to say that they've been like the best group in the league,
for sure.
but they're not like losing them completely the games. Like, I think it's more on both sides of the ball. And yeah, I'm not worried about them. But what are your thoughts on the Bills? So
I mean, yeah, the way I describe the Bills this year and the Eagles this year is in the corporate world, for example, right? There's the 80-20 rule. And that what that rule means is basically at a lot of companies, 20% of the people do 80% of the work, and 80% of the people do 20% of the work. That's how companies operate, and football teams are no different. And a football team, and not to sound like a broken record here, but there's only two things that matter at the end of the day: the head coach and the quarterback. If you have those two things right, and I keep saying this almost every podcast, in an NFL team, if you have the quarterback right and the head coach right, there's nothing to worry about. The Buffalo Bills so far, they have a proven track record that they have those two positions correct. The Philadelphia Eagles, we have a proven track record. The head coach is good, quarterback is good. We don't need to worry. Kansas City, head coach is good, quarterback is good. We don't need to worry. And I think Baltimore, even though they're 1-5 and it looks like things are falling, I think by the end of the year they'll be right back in the playoff hunt because they have the quarterback position solved and they have a serviceable head coach. As long as those two positions are there, you don't need to worry about things. You're going to have ups and downs in the season. It's unfortunate that Buffalo's going through a little bit of a downturn right now in the NFL season, but I think it's just the ebbs and flows of a football team. And Josh Allen and Sean McDermott, I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to figure it out. I still have them winning the AFC East. They might even end up being the number one seed overall. Let's see how the rest of the season plays out. But I have nothing to fear in Buffalo, man. Nothing to fear.
speaking of a team that's had a fall off in the AFC East, like who would have thought that the Jets would be reminiscent about days past with Aaron Rodgers? Like they're 0-6 right now, and like Justin Fields can't seem to pass more than 50 yards a game. Like, what do you got to say? Like, why is the offensive coordinator still on their team? Like, are they tanking already? Like, what's going on there?
I don't know what the hell's going on in New York, man. I have no idea what is going on with the Jets, and this is what happens when you have the most incompetent organization over a 25-year period, over a 50-year period even. I mean, what other team has had it worse than the Jets? They have the longest streak in the NFL right now without making the playoffs. The last time they made the playoffs was 2010, and they finally had a quarterback in their hands, in Aaron Rodgers, who could at least dictate the offense pre-snap to get you in the right position. Yes, maybe Aaron Rodgers' talents has fallen off. Maybe that arm is no longer as strong as it used to be. Maybe the footwork is not as shifty as it used to be. Maybe he's not as fast as he used to be. But he's probably better pre-snap now than he was 10 years ago in his prime, right? He would always make sure those receivers are in position. Look at the Pittsburgh offense right now. Aaron Rodgers gets the ball out in less than 2 seconds, and that offense is still humming because he makes sure his guys are in the right spot every time. He's been seeing defenses, NFL level defenses for 21 years now. And I just could never understand a team moving on from Aaron Rodgers and going to Justin Fields. If they were to come in with a young quarterback, right? If they took a chance on Shador, for example, if they took a chance on Jackson Dart this year, if they said, you know what, we're gonna ride it out with Tyrod Taylor for this year just to see what we can do, and then we're gonna go get our quarterback next year in the draft. That would be a better play for me. But I think Aaron Glenn kind of cost himself here by going for Justin Fields, by the way he treated Aaron Rodgers. I just wish he didn't take Justin Fields. They would have bought him more time. Now when you're 0-6 and you have a guy that you touted as maybe is a potential future of the team, future franchise quarterback, people are going to have different expectations. And I think the expectation management is what the Jets need to work on this past offseason. They failed to do so, and let's see what they do. I mean, I think they're going to have to get rid of Justin Fields at the end of this year and go for a young quarterback and reset this entire whole thing.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about because Fields is only in like year 4, year 5, and he's already bounced around, and so many two teams have already given up on him, and I don't think the Jets have much longer of a leash for Fields. But
I mean, at this point, I think we have enough data to know Justin Fields is not a starting caliber quarterback in the National Football League. I think he could be a great backup. I think Baltimore should do whatever they can to try and get Justin Fields as Lamar Jackson's backup.
It's a good call.
Yeah, I think that is the play here. If I'm Baltimore, and I mean, I know they're saying Lamar's going to be back after the bye this week, but if I'm Baltimore and I see that Lamar might be out any more games, I'm giving a call to the Jets, and I'm saying, hey, a 4th rounder for Fields, let's do it, and bringing in Justin Fields as Lamar's backup. I think the offensive, yeah, of course, like. Justin's not the thrower Lamar is. Justin doesn't know how to escape the pocket the way Lamar does. But Justin's still one of the best running quarterbacks we have in the league today. It's just at the quarterback position, you got to be able to throw the football, and Justin You just can't do that at a starting caliber level in the National Football League, which is not a diss,
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
not a diss. I mean, he got paid what he got paid for a reason.
for
He's
sure.
one of the lowest paid like starting quarterbacks in the league outside of the rookie contracts right now. And I was thinking before the season, it was a good discount, but the Jets aren't structured enough to have Fields as their quarterback. If the Steelers weren't able to make it work with Fields, like there really is no other chance
For sure.
for him to be a
I mean, just
starter.
look, it's very like obvious, right? The New York Jets, yes, they were bad last year, but they're worse this year, moving on from Aaron Rodgers to Justin Fields. And then you look at Pittsburgh. Yeah, Pittsburgh was fine last year with Justin Fields, but they're so much better with Aaron Rodgers this year.
And Russell
So
Wilson as well.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, the Steelers, they were 4-2 last year, and they still thought Russell Wilson will give us the best chance to win over Justin Fields. Like, do you like the Steelers are not even thinking about a quarterback change right now? But last year, when the Steelers are in a similar, the Steelers are 4-1 right now. They're going to be 5-1 after the Cincinnati game. But when they were in this similar position last year, they wanted to make a quarterback change and take out Justin Fields and bring in an old Russell Wilson. That should tell you everything you need to know about Justin Fields and his standing in the National Football League today. Now, maybe Justin Fields is not a starting level quarterback. There was another guy in the National Football League who I think was in the same spot that Justin Fields is in now a couple years ago that has completely revived his career, and that's my boy Baker Mayfield. Bake Show is alive in Tampa, man. That is if the league ended today, if the season ended today, Baker Mayfield is the MVP of the league. What a turnaround for Baker Mayfield's career, man. From a guy who got cut in Carolina, who at the time was the QB pit hole of the NFL, he got cut from Carolina and now is the MVP of the league. That is what Justin Fields should be looking at. Any quarterback who's a high draft pick that doesn't make it in the National Football League should look at Baker Mayfield's career and study this comeback that Baker Mayfield has had. What a run, man. What a run. What do you have to say about Baker, man? Just astounding, just spectacular.
Well, first I want to say, comparatively from Baker to Justin Fields, like over time, like we've watched them most of their college careers, like they were both like very big names in college football. Justin Fields, he was a 5-star recruit. He went to UGA and he knew he wasn't going to have that starting job, so he went and took his talents to Ohio State. And then he went through that, didn't win a national championship, but got close, and then ended up making the NFL, and we just talked about his journey. But then on the other side, Baker Mayfield, he was a walk-on to Texas Tech. He was a walk-on even to Oklahoma. And he was able to take those teams and turn them up a lot, especially Oklahoma, and then was the number one pick. And then, obviously he had to deal with the worst franchise in NFL history, and we just talked about the Jets, but worse than that is the Cleveland Browns. And then he went there, he took them to the playoffs, and they decided still that they don't want him. He ends up going to the...
Well, I just want to make one clarifying point. Before Baker Mayfield got there, I just want the viewers to understand. The Browns were 1-31. In 32 games they played before Baker Mayfield got there, the team was so dog shit that they were 1-31, and they still did not fire the head coach. That went 1-31 when Baker Mayfield got. That's how incompetent the Browns are. They kept Hugh Jackson on the job after Hugh Jackson went 1-15 his first year and 0-16 his second year. Blows my mind how he still kept his job for a third year. Absolutely insanity. Absolute insanity. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, but I was just saying, like, to your point about Baker and Justin Fields, like, both of their journeys are, like, very, very different. But it shows right now in their careers right now. Because Baker, he rose from the ashes and was able to become an MVP candidate this year. And as you mentioned earlier in the season, he was the MVP candidate. So I hope you bet on that, by the way, because Baker,
I did not, but I did call
had
it.
some great
I called
odds.
it before the
before
the season started. That was my MVP pick. It was Baker Mayfield. My Super Bowl pick was Buccaneers Steelers. It's looking good, man. That's the two of the three best records in football right now.
If you would have bet that combo, you could have at least cashed out for a little bit more than you put in
I
right
know,
now.
dude. But I have the worst luck in betting.
Yeah,
The
no.
worst, man.
I'm not here to
I
give...
mean, I feel like everyone feels that way, but still.
Yeah, no, we're not going to talk about betting this episode, but yeah, Baker Mayfield is an MVP candidate. He's the top of the list right now. I think him and Patrick Mahomes are 1 and 2 right now. But it's week 7, so we'll see what happens. But to your point, Baker Mayfield has really made a resurgence for his career, and I don't see that same trajectory happening with Justin Fields in 2 or 3 years time. But Baker, I hope he wins MVP.
Cool. I think we can put an end to the episode there. Alice, once again, great coming in, talking football with you as usual. Yeah, I hope to see everyone next week.
Yeah, man, I'm so excited for NFL Week 7. We got the Unk Bowl this week with Aaron Rodgers, Joe Flacco. I'm excited to see that, and then
Battle of the AFC North.
Battle of the AFC North. Let's see who
Feels like
comes out on
2008
top.
again, Aaron Rodgers versus Joe Flacco in a divisional battle, or Steelers. I guess Joe Flacco's not in the Ravens anymore, but another AFC North team. But it just feels a little nostalgic.
Oh yeah, 100%. But so let's kick our week off with that, and then we'll catch you guys next week.
Yeah. All right. Let's stop.
Peace.